How do you keep muscle while you cut? How do you not turn into Skeletor when you're trying to drop weight? How do you get targeted body fat? Find out now. So if you're one of those people who are cutting too fast, you're trying to drop the body fat, and you end up just kind of looking shriveled, kind of get that little Skeletor look in a t-shirt, a few things we gotta talk about. You might be cutting weight a little bit wrong. So I wanna give you 3 tips to correct that. Number 1, don't go crazy. When you wanna cut weight, I know a lot of people that will say they get to a point where they're kind of comfortable, you know, with the size they have, they like the muscle, man, they get so excited they put on new muscle, and then they just go crazy. They're eating maybe 1,800 calories, 2,000 calories, and then they just go crazy and go, I'm gonna eat 1,200 calories. No, don't do that. Yeah, it's too big of a jump. You can't go crazy with this. Like this whole process of getting in shape, getting aesthetics, gaining strength, running fat, whatever you're doing, it's a slow process. It takes time. Don't rush it. Experiment with your body and go at a snail's pace, you know? We just want to make sure we're in the right direction. Because as long as we have the right direction and we have the time, we're gonna get our results, hands down. Hands down, every single time. It's when you stop that, you know, things falter. So we want to make sure that we're on the right path and don't go crazy here. So take it small. You know, if you're hitting 1,800 calories, back it off 20%, 25%. Play with something small first. See what your body does. So you might be going too extreme. I know a lot of people come to me sometimes that just ruin their body, ruin their metabolism because they tried some fad diet and some crazy thing where they were juicing and then they did intermittent fasting with it. Dude. You did too much, you hit the gas too hard. So 2, your eating might be off as far as macros. You might not be getting enough protein. You might have too many carbs in there, and it might, you know, start eating your body might start using the muscle, and you know, instead of the body fat, right? Because you're constantly feeding it with carbs. Your body's still running on carbs. We want it to run off the minimal amount of carbs so it can start using body fat as energy. Body fat is just energy reserves. It's our body's way of preserving energy in case we ever need it, in case we start starving or in case we start, you know, going without meals and stuff. So that's how your macros might be off. Get enough protein. I want to shoot for a gram per pound to 1.5 grams. When you're cutting, I always kind of cheat towards like that 1.5 grams, almost even 2 grams. Like I'll play with it and really watch my body. So if you're trying to cut weight, make sure that protein is high, 1.5 grams, almost 2 grams. Play with it, see what it's about. See how your body responds to it, and make sure you're monitoring your carbs. The 3rd reason, your metabolism might not be firing as much. You know, I know people that sometimes do like 2 meals a day. They're busy professionals, doing everything right, but they're not keeping that metabolism going. You know, they're kind of, they're not really incorporating cheat meals in there, which kind of regulates your T3 hormone, regulates metabolism. So they're not really having too much structure, and they're not eating enough to where their body's kind of, you know, hoarding and getting into that survival mode, breaking down tissue as fuel and everything that you don't want to do. So you got to get your meals in there. How I combat with that is just get snacks. You know, if you're a busy professional, you know, throw some beef jerky, throw some little cups of yogurt, you know, throw some protein powder in your drawer, a couple little protein bars. My favorite protein bar is Quest bars, sold by brand Quest, and they're phenomenal. Low carb, high protein, and if you got a sweet tooth, they're the bee's knees. Am I too young to say bee's knees? I'm in my 30s. You let me know in the comments. Get your meals in there though. Like we gotta get our meals in there. So feed the metabolism, constantly feed every 3.5. Don't go 4 hours without eating a meal unless you're on some kind of fasting plan. But we wanna make sure we're constantly feeding our body enough fuel for what we're doing in the gym. Because we're in the gym, we're demanding more from our body. We want to make sure we're properly fueled for the demand in the gym, right? For what we're asking, what we're demanding in the gym. So make sure your metabolism is on point. Make sure your meals are getting allocated throughout the day, right? Make sure you're getting them in. So again, Those would be the key things to keep muscle, and then train hard, right? I'm gonna throw another one in there. Train hard, you know, don't stop training hard. I made this mistake in the beginning where I would say, well, I'm not bulking, I'm not adding muscle, so I don't need to go as hard. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You're trying to preserve that muscle and even grow it. You know, when I started eating right, I dropped no weight at all, but I dropped 4% body fat clean, which tells me all that muscle just came back. So it's extremely hard to do. Some people say you can't do it. I've done it. So you can do that. So pump hard, even if you're cutting, pump hard like you're gaining muscle. You should be crushing it in the gym, right? You might not have as much energy because you're eating at a deficit, but ramp it up. Like, don't pull that, don't let off the gas just because you're cutting weight. So those are my top tips on how to keep muscle while you're cutting body fat. Again, we want targeted body fat. Get after it and keep your muscle.